Hi, I'm Paul.
Hi, I'm poor.
Look, I don't care that I am skipping ahead or not following 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can suck my ass. So yeah, I was late to the game checking out the SpongeBob Conspiracy Theories by Alex Bale. I recently did the Mrs. Puff Theory, or number 3, and I am continuing on doing those up until this point. However, I am skipping ahead and then we'll go to do 4, 5, and 6. But yeah, check those out if you haven't already. But nonetheless, this is the robot invasion theory, and this is number 7. And it is a half an hour, so sit your beautiful ass down and let's check this out together. Before we begin, be sure to check out all the links in the description below as well as on the screen. And as always, be sure to subscribe to the channel because most of y'all asses are not already, and I'm gonna whoop your ass. Hit that bell to be notified whenever I post, and give this video a huge thumbs up yo butt. The robots are coming.
One of my favorite episodes of SpongeBob is the season 3 episode KRAB. SpongeBob watches a scary robot movie, then gets super paranoid about robots taking over, and even kidnaps Mr. Krabs.
What? You think I'm a robot? We don't think we
The Krabs was spitting that shit with that robot song though,
funny
you're on the radio.
But I can't help but wonder if SpongeBob's fears might be a bit more justified than we thought. In the episode SB129, we get our first glimpse of the future 2,000 years later.
Okay, what's going on here? Why is everything chrome?
Everything is chrome in the future.
We see a world covered in chrome, where everyone has been replaced with robotic people.
SpongeBob,
This episode was fucking
is that
trippy.
you?
SpongeBob? No, I am
SpongeTron.
And this isn't the only time we see a future full of robots.
Oh my god, I watched
In the
SpongeBob too
season 7
much.
episode Back to the Past, SpongeBob time travels to an alternate future where Man Ray takes over, and once again, people have been replaced by robots. And then, in the second SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water, there's a deleted scene where SpongeBob and Plankton go to the future and see this.
We did it! I wonder when we are. Excuse me, sir. Do you know what year this is?
Oh.
We didn't go back in time. We went front in time.
And there's even foreshadowing in episodes that take place in the present. In the Krusty Krab training video, we hear this.
Well, luckily for you, Mr. Krab's fear of robot overlords keeps the balance of technology in check.
Here's the thing though, even with us, like in real life, robots are taking, or AI are taking over so many like jobs and stuff. I mean, it makes sense. Like robots are all over the place. Robotic vacuums. Again, there's gonna be robotic like waiters and shit. I think they already are robotic like waiters, and hell, even robotic like hotel attendants and shit like that. Shit's crazy.
Guards, we can see an exhibit that clearly shows the evolution of SpongeBob eventually getting taken
bruh.
over by robots.
Why SpongeBob look like he cracked
there
out?
seems to be a lot of evidence for the future of Bikini Bottom being taken over by robots. But honestly, why does any of this matter? I mean, robots ruling the world is a pretty common depiction of the future in lots of different media. And even if this is the canonical future of the show, it's at the very least thousands of years in the future. It's not like we can already see this robot invasion happening in present-day Bikini Bottom, right? Here's an interesting question about SpongeBob that's always bothered me. Why are there so many robots in the show? And I'm not talking about Sandy or Plankton's inventions. It makes sense for them to have robots since they're both genius inventors. But why do hospitals and office buildings and amusement parks and Weenie Hut
that was creepy as fuck.
many more places have such advanced robots? I mean, let's ignore the fact that they're underwater and robots wouldn't really make sense down here.
So obviously Bikini Bottom is a very
isn't like
advanced.
a super advanced society,
Yeah,
right?
I think they
We
are.
can't really say that they have much futuristic technology, except when it comes to robots. But why? And what's even stranger is that there are many instances where these robots suddenly turn evil. The first time I really started to notice this was in the season 7 episode Tunnel of Glove. SpongeBob and Pearl
Hey, bro,
get trapped in
that
a
glove about to make me
ride
act
that's
up. That was
full
some
of
cheeks.
animatronics. Patrick tries to set them free by breaking into the control room, but accidentally causes all the animatronics to suddenly turn evil and attack SpongeBob. Now, this is a pretty basic cartoon trope. Someone accidentally breaks the controls, then the robot malfunctions and
Starts choking motherfuckers
this
out.
isn't really all that weird for SpongeBob. Except, what's strange about this is that Patrick doesn't break any controls. He hits a button labeled Animatronic Override, and that's what causes the robots to turn evil.
I'll just gingerly lean on this wall.
This motherfucker. Why would you even
They
have
are
that button?
malfunctioning. The robots were intentionally designed to have a button that makes them attack people, but why? Then, in the episode Good Neighbors, Scooper discovers a flyer for a home
Did you just call him Scooper?
But why? Then, in the episode Good Neighbors, Scooper discovers a flyer for a
Something
home
says
security
Scooper?
system that's suspiciously free, despite it clearly being very advanced. After he sets it up, his house suddenly grows arms and legs and starts destroying
Oh
Bikini
my
Bottom.
lord. I've literally seen like all of these episodes.
Wow, Squidward's house is destroying the neighborhood.
Now, to be fair, this was a malfunction caused by SpongeBob, but why would a simple home security system have giant arms and legs? I mean, the malfunction didn't create them, they were clearly already installed. They eventually do manage to stop the house, but what's really creepy about this is that we can still see signs of Squidward's house being sentient after this episode. Then, in the season 11
Oh, what the
episode,
fuck?
The Cleaners, SpongeBob and Patrick go to an office building and encounter a trash cleaning robot. The robot immediately attacks them for causing a mess.
Because they're fucking trash.
Oh, my rump is roasting!
But this time, there's no malfunction that causes this. It's working exactly as intended. Not only does the trash robot
So,
have a buzzsaw
Sandy
and a literal laser
or Plankton
cannon, but it
are
also
behind
turns
all
all
robots.
of the nearby machines into killer robots to help hunt down SpongeBob and Patrick. So, where are all these places getting these super advanced robots? And more importantly, why are they all being programmed to suddenly turn evil? This is a question that stumped me for a while, until I watched the season 11 episode, My Leg. This is the episode where I truly realized there was an actual conspiracy theory here, and not just cartoon antics. It's time we finally find out.
Oh, hey, bro, that
who's behind
SpongeBob was
the
creepy as
robot
fuck.
invasion. The episode My Leg focuses on the reoccurring gag of this one fish always injuring his leg throughout the show.
My leg!
At one point in the episode, he goes to a hospital and meets a robot that works there. It's just a small throwaway gag. The robot never turns evil or does anything strange.
He got a fucked up leg.
Don't take my leg! Don't take my leg!
But there's something awfully familiar about the robot's design. Let's go all the way back to the season 3 episode Plankton's Army, which opens with Plankton trying to
So
steal
again,
the Krabby
I think
Patty's
Plankton
secret
is behind
formula
all
with
these
a robot
robots.
disguise.
Like he has a
What
separate
trick
company
you
other
used
than
to
Chum
steal
Bucket.
the secret Krabby Patty formula.
What a quaint restaurant. I think I will sample their wares.
These robots have an uncanny similarity, right down to the same tie. Okay, but maybe we could just chalk this up to the showrunners being lazy and reusing assets. But SpongeBob has always had a pretty diverse amount of robot designs throughout the show. And it's not like this is a direct copy-paste either. They went to the effort to redesign the face and colors, but it was still clearly based on Plankton's robot. So, here's my theory. Plankton has built many robots to try and steal the Krabby Patty secret formula.
This is
but
all
I
part of
think
his
after
plan.
He fails to do
And he
so,
comes at it in
doesn't
different
just
angles.
Throw them away. He redesigns the robots and then gives them to different businesses in Bikini Bottom with the intention to one day use them to take over the world once he has enough in place. I mean, we know what Plankton really wants isn't the secret formula, it's to rule the world.
I will rule the world!
And there's even the video game, Battle for Bikini Bottom, where Plankton tried to take over using an army of robots.
Or the most recent
So, this
SpongeBob
theory
game,
doesn't
that
seem
Mr.
too
Krabs
far-fetched for
on
Plankton's
fucking
character,
drugs
but
game?
we're
Oh
gonna
my
need
god.
a lot more evidence if we're gonna prove he's the one behind all the robots in Bikini Bottom. So, let's get started. In the season 3 episode,
No
Weenies
penises allowed.
we see a robot working at a place called Weenie Hut Juniors.
Would you care for another Diet Cola with a lemon twist, Weenie?
And while it doesn't resemble any of the robots we've seen Plankton make, does that voice sound familiar to you?
Would you care for another Diet Cola with a lemon twist? What a quaint restaurant. I think I will sample their wares.
And again, it's not like this is the default robot voice we hear in SpongeBob. There are many different voices the show has used for robot characters.
What a quaint restaurant.
Greetings, I am Robo 2.1.
No threat detected.
This is very uncomfortable.
Leave my father alone!
But here, they specifically recreated the voice from Plankton's robot. Let's go back to Glove World for a second. In the control room, we see a machine on the wall that looks shockingly like SpongeBob. So much so that Patrick even mistakes him for it. We know Plankton has built a SpongeBob robot before in Welcome to the Chum Bucket. Maybe he repurposed it here inside of Glove World.
No, this is some
In
crazy
KRUSTY
shit.
Cleaners, the trash robot also has a striking resemblance to Plankton's
Like I say that
robot in
every
the season
fucking
9
time.
episode Eek and Urchin. In the season 5 episode, The Patty Gadget, Squidward tries to get SpongeBob SpongeBob fired by replacing him with a machine that creates Krabby Patties for free. But it's never explained where Squidward got this machine. Now, it doesn't resemble anything we've seen Plankton make, but a staple in a lot of Plankton's inventions is having them resemble his likeness, especially with one eye in the middle, and that's exactly what we see with the Patty Gadget. And the patties it makes are terrible, which would make sense for something Plankton made. In the episode All That Glitters, SpongeBob buys a super advanced talking spatula.
Les Spatula 3000 at your service.
Why my man's naked
though? In the episode
though?
Evil Spatula, we find out Plankton has a whole collection of advanced spatulas just like this one, and even tries to trick SpongeBob into taking a talking spatula. It seems like no matter where we turn, we can find a connection between the technology in Bikini Bottom and Plankton. But if you remember in those glimpses of the future, the world isn't just ruled by robots. They've actually replaced all the existing citizens with robot copies.
And maybe Plankton's plan went a little too far.
This is also something we can already see happening in Bikini Bottom today. Get ready to see how far this robot invasion has really gone.
Fuck our brains, Alex.
Now, we know Plankton has tried to turn people into robots before.
SpongeBob, come in here. Or should I say Robot Bob?
But he gave up after SpongeBob was too annoying.
You've got to take that yellow nightmare back. It's not worth it.
But I don't think this was his only attempt. In the season 11 episode, The Checkup, SpongeBob and Squidward are trying to give Mr. Krabs a health checkup by testing his pinching reflexes.
Okay.
I've never seen this one.
For
Hold
Mr.
on.
Krabs to pinch. A pinch of salt.
And one of the
Been
things
drying
they
my
have
man's
a pinch
out.
is a baby.
A baby's cheek.
Hey, bro.
Lucky that was a robot baby.
Some random
That's terrible.
baby just turned out to be a robot, and it's never explained why. That's weird even for SpongeBob. But things get even more interesting when we go back to season 9 in the episode Plankton's Pet, where Plankton tries to steal a Krabby Patty using the exact same purple baby as a robot disguise.
That diabolical fiend! I can't believe this is working!
And we're not even done yet. If we go even further back to the season 5 episode Goo Goo Gas, we can actually see the exact moment where Plankton gets the idea to turn the baby into a robot.
Oh my god.
You're so tiny and helpless. I could take your formula whenever I wanted to, and you couldn't do a thing about it.
Bitch, what is wrong with you?
That's it! Finally, victory will be mine!
Now, in the episode, it's implied that this is just him getting the idea to turn everyone into babies to steal the formula, but isn't it crazy how it also perfectly lines up with the purple baby fish suddenly turning into a robot in future episodes? Now, there's another fish who's always been very suspicious to me. The strangely realistic news anchor fish.
All of Bikini Bottom
This motherfucker a
is
robot.
over the identity of a mysterious flying man who helps people. Who knows what superhero act of courage he'll astound us with next?
In a show full of cartoon characters, why is he the only realistic one? In fact, I made a whole theory about how there are evolved cartoony fish that can talk, and primitive realistic fish who can't. But as many people have
I'll be
pointed
watching
out,
that theory
the one
at some
exception
point.
to this is the realistic news anchor fish. Well, if you ask me, he looks a lot like one of those animatronic singing fish you buy in a gift shop. Especially the way he mechanically moves his mouth and how we only ever see one side of him. So, already a pretty strong indication that he might be a robot, but there's also something familiar about his voice.
What kind of cruel, careless, evil person?
Oh my fucking god.
That's right, he has the same voice as
Fucking,
Plankton.
this
And
is
if you're
some
gonna take
crazy
over the
shit
world,
every
then
time,
you're definitely
bro.
gonna want to control the media. But how exactly is Plankton replacing these
Alex
people
got,
with
I have a
robots?
theory.
Well,
Alex is a
I
writer at
think the season
SpongeBob.
10 episode Whirly Brains gives us an important clue. In this episode, suddenly a new toy becomes extremely popular in Bikini Bottom, the Whirly Brain.
Hey, bruh.
Attach the propeller and watch your brain.
That's fucking creepy.
Into the air.
Yeah, it's a weird episode. So, people are actually voluntarily attaching devices to their brains and ripping them out of their bodies, and no one thinks that this is suspicious? If you ask me, this seems like the perfect way to replace someone with a robot.
Yep.
Remember, in Welcome to the CHUM,
The brain's gone, they
Plankton
just sneak
told
in a
us how it
robotic
turns
brain.
people into robots.
Connect to the nerves.
I'll be forced to
Done.
remove your brain and implant it in my robot chef.
By removing their brains. But is there any proof that he's the one behind the Whirly Brain toys? Let's take a look at the new SpongeBob prequel, The Patrick
Never
Star
fucking
Show.
watched it, by the way.
Every
Is
once
the
in a
Patrick
while,
Star
the
Show
cuts to
good?
this
Let me know if you
stop-motion
watched it.
parody of Frankenstein with Plankton. In the he actually uses whirly brains to conduct his experiments. It's not super clear how this all connects to the main show. I mean, we do see Patrick interact with the stop-motion Plankton at some point, so they're at least in the same universe, but regardless, it's still a solid connection. We see another head-based gadget in the season 11 episode Bottle Burglars, an invisible helmet being advertised in a magazine for only 99 cents. And in the same episode, we see Plankton using the exact same helmet.
Crabs will never see me coming, Inviso.
Now, maybe this is just implying that he bought the helmet from the magazine, but that doesn't really line up with what we know about Plankton as an inventor. Plus, I can't see them selling a tiny version of the helmet just for Plankton. Seems a lot more likely that Plankton created the helmet and is selling them to the people of Bikini Bottom, possibly as a way to create more robots. Alright, so we're starting to get a pretty clear idea of how Plankton plans on turning the citizens of Bikini Bottom into robots. But there is one more character that I believe has already been secretly assimilated into a robot. And it's not some random background character either. It's one of the main characters in SpongeBob SquarePants.
Sandy?
This final part of the robot invasion theory is going to completely change the way you look at the entire show. Are you ready? Because this is the Patrick Star theory.
Hey, what? Patrick made him so fucking dumb that he's a robot?
Now, I fully realize saying Patrick is a robot is a very bold claim, but hold your judgment till the end.
He could be programmed to be dumb as fuck on purpose.
On this channel is to cover Patrick Star, and more specifically, his inconsistent intelligence. Throughout the entire show, there are some moments where Patrick suddenly says something smart.
I'm a bit more complicated.
Yeah, he gets smart as fuck out of nowhere. This is some
machinations of my mind are.
Alex hitting it right on the nail every time.
Immediately goes back to being dumb.
Milk. It's a reboot, pretty much. It's a reset.
There's so many examples of this happening that many people have actually made their own theories about it. Is Patrick secretly a genius and just pretending to be dumb? Does he have a secret split personality?
I diagnosed Patrick Star with trauma-induced anxiety-triggered spontaneously duplicative multi-intellectual DID.
Hey, hold on, bro.
Schizophrenic delusions of a mental multiverse.
Maybe, but I've come to a bit of a different conclusion. Have you ever noticed how every time we see Patrick try to think, there's either sparks or smoke coming out of his head?
Patrick speaking again.
And almost every time we see inside of Patrick's head, it's represented with gears or some kind of machinery.
Yo, this is some fucking crazy shit. The toaster?
Now, we're supposed to assume that this is just a cartoony way to visualize thought, but what's strange is just how consistent they are with it. And even stranger, none of the other characters' thoughts are visualized this way.
Just got an order from the boss. Dump everything that isn't about fine dining. Squidward's happy gland is forced to take shelter in the recesses of his mind.
It's only Patrick who seems to have this robotic association with him. And just look at how detailed they are with it. While Patrick's head is sparking in Rule of Dumb, if you look closely, you can see a spring pop out of him, and even a hole left behind.
It's like a split second. I would not
such a small
fucking see that shit.
No one would notice unless you were going frame by frame. And if this is just supposed to be a metaphor inside of Patrick's head, how come SpongeBob clearly sees the spring come out?
I'm done.
Okay, so
I'm done. Programmed to be SpongeBob's best friend, dumb as fuck, but there are times where smartness shows and there's a program that resets him.
Why does this cause him to randomly become smart every once in a while? Well, I looked at all the scenes where Patrick suddenly does something smart, and I noticed a bit of a pattern. There are two different types of these moments. There are times when we think he's saying something intelligent.
Wait, SpongeBob! We're not cavemen! We have technology!
But then it's revealed he's not actually being smart. This doesn't contradict his character at all. Patrick is someone who doesn't see himself as dumb, so there's lots of times when he tries to be smart, but he fails.
Dumb people are always blissfully unaware of how dumb they really are.
Ooh.
But there are also moments where he actually does do something undeniably smart.
Wait a minute, Squidward. They might be onto something.
We could filter the CO2 through our ballast tanks, refire the engines, and ride the shockwave out of here.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's right.
But then he immediately acts oblivious to the fact that he was being smart.
We're going through with your plan, Patrick.
That's something purposely just dumbing him down. in this operating
I kept track
system.
of these two different types of moments, and it seems like after season 3 is when he suddenly switches from pretending to be smart to actually having these smart moments. And this switch perfectly lines up with the season 4 episode, Patrick's Smarty Pants. In this episode, Patrick falls off a cliff and gets his head knocked off. SpongeBob accidentally replaces his head with some brain coral, which makes him become a genius.
Oh my god.
I find all this laughter to be highly illogical.
In the end, they switch back to his normal head and Patrick goes back to his usual stupid self. But take a closer look at the scene when he first puts on the brain coral.
Here's your head.
Now, many people have interpreted these gears with cobwebs as a metaphor for Patrick's brain never being used until now, but these gears are not from Patrick's brain. His brain came off during the fall, which means these gears are entirely from the brain coral. And at the end of the episode, when they remove the brain coral, we can still see the electrical plug attached to it. We are no longer seeing a metaphorical representation inside of someone's head. We are seeing this plug from an outside perspective. The brain coral is just like the Whirly Brains, a robotic device that plugs into your brain to control you. Isn't it convenient that Patrick just happened to land next to a pile of coral that looked identical to his head? Is it possible that Plankton saw this as an opportunity to add another victim to his robot invasion? But after Patrick removed it, he went back to normal, right? He completely stopped Plankton's plan, right? Well, one season later, in the episode Sing a Song of Patrick, Patrick attempts to use his brain again, and we see the same gears inside of his head.
Come on, you stupid brain! Work!
The creators went out of their way to recreate
this is
the exact
Alex
placement
Bale's
of
a
all the
writer
gears
for
from the
SpongeBob.
brain coral, which
Confirmed.
means the head Patrick put on at the end
He
of
knows
Patrick's
too
Smarty
much
Pants
too well.
was not his head. It was another piece of robotic brain coral. But it seems like for whatever reason, this brain coral isn't as effective as the first one, and he's only able to have rare moments of genius. In the season 12 episode, SpongeBob's Big Birthday Blowout, Patrick has another one of his smart moments.
Oh, would you look at the hour? It's almost time for me to take SpongeBob on that tour so you guys can decorate his house.
But this moment in particular is very interesting because Plankton is actually there to witness it. And take a guess how Plankton responds to him.
Yeah, I guess even a broken moron can be right once a day.
He calls Patrick a broken moron because he knows Patrick is a broken one of his experiments. And if you still don't believe me, in the newest episode of season 13, The Goofy Scoopers, we get this scene.
This stinks. I wanted to go backstage for an autograph.
Hey,
Plankton
what?
Was here. Yes, he certainly was. And that is the robot invasion theory. Thank you very much.
What the fuck? That might have just been Alex's most accurate theory. But again, I now have a theory that Alex works at Nickelodeon, works creating the entire story, the information based on SpongeBob. There ain't no fucking way. I mean, there's a way, obviously, if he doesn't, but he knows too damn much. He sees so many details that we never see. I don't know, man. I just, Alex, I got a theory in your ass. Well, guys, let me know your theories down below for this theory. Like, what you think, like, there's more to it, like, what more information you could provide that Alex did not. And let me know if the Patrick Star Show is any good at all, because, again, I've never watched it, and I was kind of confused on why they went that route, but whatever the case may be, I don't know. But thank you guys. Thank you guys again. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Give this video a huge thumbs up, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. It has been DJB. Peace out.